Seahawks. Every week I feel like I'm like this is the real test. Like the Bears were good, but you called it. I mean, they're a young team. They're better at home. They weren't as good as the 49ers. The Seahawks are the number one seed. They faced each other already once before. The Niners won. It was a very low scoring game. What do you expect from this game?
First of all, I expect the Niners to win. What I expect to happen, and if I'm wrong, you could put a pie in my face. I expect the Niners to beat these guys. I expect the Niners to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs as long as they survive. And I expect the Niners to be in the Super Bowl at their home, at their ballpark. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's what I think is going to happen too. I do think it's going to be an interesting game, despite that. Like, I want to see how much Brock Purdy's really improved. You said it's your theory or your suspicion that Brock Purdy has improved significantly since 2 years ago. I think it's possible. He may have improved significantly since a month ago. We've seen what it looked right. Like we've seen what he looked like against Seattle earlier this year. He had Kittle for a couple quarters. He had Trent Williams. He had Chris. He had everyone, and he had some great plays. He had 2 bad picks. They scored 17 and won. Is he going to look different this time? Is he going to put up 25, 30? That would say something about his development and maybe the offense's potential the rest of the season.
I think I want to get back to the Seahawks. I want to tell you one reason Brock got better, Mac Jones, because he's a competitor. No question. He's a competitor. Let's get back to the Seahawks. I don't expect the Seahawks to score a lot of points against the 49ers. I expect the 49ers defense to look pretty good. Not great, pretty good. And I expect them to do very well against the run. I do. And I expect them eventually to force Sam Darnold to make game-losing mistakes. That's what I think is going to happen in that game. I do.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm looking at the stats from week 1. Got to remember, the Seahawks defense is legit. It's way better than the Bears defense. It's way better than any defense the Niners have faced in the last month or two. And in that game, they held McCaffrey to 69 rushing yards on 22 carries. That's 3.1 per attempt. And as a team, the Niners averaged 3.3 yards per carry. So that's serious. And that's not what the Niners have been doing the last couple of weeks. On the other hand, the Niners defense was great against the run as well. They only gave up 84 rushing yards the whole game. So it could come down to which quarterback plays better. And I think we both agree that Purdy's playing a whole lot better than Darnold right now. The only thing is Purdy's probably going to be facing an actual pass rush while Darnold might not be.
Do you? But remember, the offensive line has improved. Do you think
it is? But remember that Trent Williams might not play.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many things to consider.
There's so many things to remember at the same time. I'm forgetting.
You know how I called yesterday's game like art? It was beautiful.
Yeah.
The game against the Seahawks is not going to be art, Iggy. It's going to be tough, gritty, and maybe ugly. But I love games like that. I do. I love games where they have to fight for every inch. How much it means. The yard lines, how much they mean. And this is going to be that game. The two teams playing their hearts out because the game has such overriding significance. So I think it'll be an ugly / fucking great game.
Agree. That Seahawks defense is going to be maybe the best defense the Niners see. I mean, it's a really good defense, but their offense, their quarterback's shaky. They have one great wide receiver, but that's it. They don't have a tight end you're scared of. They have a couple running backs who are good that the Niners shut down already this year. They got one wide receiver you got to handle. And again, let's see what he did in this game. He had 9 catches for 124 yards and no touchdowns. He's good, but he didn't score. So we'll see.
I also think Purdy will play very well in this game. I do. I think he'll play very well.
He will too. I think he will.
Now, he may not be involved in 5 touchdowns. Yeah, because, Iggy, one of the reasons he is better is because he, like a competitor, he responded to the challenge of Mac Jones, and Kyle gets credit for creating that dynamic.
Correct. Bill Walsh would have done the same thing. And Kyle didn't create that dynamic last year.
Bill did it with Steven and Joe.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. It's true. 2 Hall of Famers. Bill Kennedy says, does defense win championships? Hope not, LOL.
You need defense to win championships, Bill, and they're going to have to do better.
They're going to have to do better. Mason says, I shook hands with Lombardi and took a photo in Indy. He then said he was sick with something from the Niners locker room. Now I'm stuck at home with the flu fever. At least I have gloves off to read. It's a good book. Good book. Sudden Chaos says, Purdy hasn't proven anything until he plays on defense and special teams. Dude has kicked no field goals. Love you, Mr. Cohn. I look forward to this show just as much as the games. Grant, you were just okay. Thanks,
I think Grant's superior.
808 Niners says, if this Kyle had shown up in the past, they would have won a Super Bowl. Now that his crutch Debo is gone, the offense is more open. He's going to get CMC killed, but I'm more optimistic he can win a Super Bowl here.
Well, as long as he doesn't get him killed till after they win a Super Bowl.
I'm glad we agree that moving on from the Debo crutch was key for Kyle. The Finance Bro 808 says, should Marquise Siegel be get playing time at free safety? Too many times Brown has been getting beat deep playing single high safety. Siegel did too. That's why Siegel got benched. I think the answer is they don't really have a starting safety at that spot, and they need one next year. City by the Bay says Purdy's best strength is IQ, underrated scrambler. Yeah, but does he got a 148? Invading Robot says, hey, Grant and Lowell. In the pressers, why do some journalists go on a long preamble before asking the question? If it's a good question, you don't need to qualify it. You guys are great, by the way, and I appreciate your insights.
That's a very interesting comment, and I appreciate it. For what it's worth, when I participated in a lot of news conferences in a lot of sports, I always thought my question out beforehand. Sometimes I wrote it down. If I felt a little nervous, I'd write it down in my notebook. And I always wanted it to be a simple declarative sentence, one sentence. If you have to do a whole preamble, the subject, like the coach, Kyle, begins to tune out, and the journalists in the room begin to think you're a schmuck. So for me, it worked best if I just did a simple declarative. Oh, it couldn't be a declarative because it was a question, a simple interrogative.
Yeah.
Interrogative.
Ben Eastman says, ever since growing the beard, Grant, Purdy has been on a roll. Can we see you hit the Dougie? I'll work on it. If they win the Super Bowl, I'll do the Dougie. Tony Vang says, CMC in the MVP conversation. Back come player of the year. Will Purdy have a bad game in the rain? Will Donald tear up the Niners defense or see ghosts? You ask a lot of questions. I don't think you can be in the MVP conversation when you miss half the season.
I agree.
That's just me, though.
He's not in the MVP conversation. Yeah, he's not.
T&K Hunting says, as a business owner with 16 employees, you absolutely need to cut ties with people that cause issues in the workplace. No matter how good they are or what you have invested, it's the only way. Proud of Kyle. Seems like he's starting to realize it.
Love that comment. Thank you.
Thanks for the $50. I was extremely generous. All of you guys are generous. I appreciate you. Nathan says, hey, Grant, not sure if this is going to be your last show of the year, so happy New Year to you, Grant, and Lowell as well. The shows with you and your dad are the best. Happy New Year, Nathan. I appreciate it. But no,
you're going to do some.
Yeah. I'll stream tomorrow. Next. Bill Kennedy says, who would Walsh Seifert trade? Kittle, CMC?
Let me take Seifert out of it. I mean, the way they're playing now, Kittle's hurt. I'm not sure that Bill would trade them if they continue to play like that. You'd be nuts.
Sean for the win says, do you think the Niners would consider extending Christian McCaffrey's career by converting him to slot and re-signing him? It would be a savvy move if he's willing to, and he'd be elite for another 2-3 years.
My feeling is it'll never happen.
Probably not. He'd make more money.
He's a running back.
Yeah. Jameer says, greatest sons of Oakland, what are your favorite movies? My favorite movie?
Hey, you know what? I got to tell you. Look, my favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie. It's my favorite movie far and away. But last Saturday night, I was going to go out. I like to go out to a nice restaurant and sit at the bar and talk to people and eat. And I was getting ready to do it, but I've been reading this book, Testimony by Robbie Robertson from the band. And I was getting up to the part where they were going to do their last concert, which was in San Francisco, called The Last Waltz. And instead of going out, I watched the movie. I got it on Prime Video. And I'd never watched it before. And I got to tell you, what a great rock and roll movie. Iggy. Oh, in fact, when we're done today, I'm going to write about that movie on Substack. The music is great, and the story of those band members is so wonderful. And Iggy, I'm watching it. They're all dead now. Every one of them. One was a suicide. And so you're watching the movie, and there's this extra unspoken theme that they're all gone. I had one of the deepest, most beautiful Saturday nights. So I'm saying, if you never watched The Last Waltz, they had people, they had Dylan singing, they had Van Morrison, Neil Diamond, they had Joni Mitchell, they had Muddy Waters. It was phenomenal. Clapton, what a concert. Ringo Starr, Ronnie Woods. It was unbelievable.